The call came while I was rinsing a glass ordinary, harmless, until I heard her voice. My daughter-in-law, sharpened, superior. If you want to join Thanksgiving, come wash the dishes. I said nothing at first. I let the silence weigh on her. Then I replied, softly, enjoy. I ended the call. 2 minutes later, the buzzing began. Notification after notification calls, messages, missed attempts to pull me back into their orbit. 71 calls. All because she had finally seen the photos. My villa in Switzerland. The glass balcony. The view carved out of a snow-white horizon. The life they thought I'd never have. The life they assumed they deserved more than I did. I wiped the counter clean, slow and deliberate, letting the vibration of my phone pulse like a distant alarm. And as I watched the screen light up with her name again, something colder settled inside me. This wasn't about dishes. It never was. It began long before tonight at that family dinner, the one that rewired everything in my life. The night her father, a lawyer, leaned across the table with the kind of arrogance that came from winning too many cases and losing all sense of morality. The night he told me to sign my penthouse over to his pregnant daughter, or he'd take me to court. I should have walked away then. But I stayed. I listened. And I learned exactly what kind of predators I was dealing with. The phone buzzed again. And only one thought echoed through me. You brought this on yourself. Her father sat at the head of the table that night Thanksgiving last year, hands folded like he owned the air we were breathing. Her pregnant sister watched me with that wide-eyed entitlement she perfected over the years. Then it came. We need your penthouse, her father said, voice steady. She's starting her new life. Fresh start. Stability. You owe the family that much. I felt my pulse slow, not rise. A bad sign my body only shut down when the betrayal was personal. My wife didn't look at me. Not once. Her father slid papers across the table. Sign it tonight. Or we take you to court. I stared at the documents, the numbers, the bold assumption printed across the page. As if my 3 years of payments, all $197,000 of them, meant nothing. As if I existed only to fund their convenience. My wife whispered, "It's what's best for everyone." Everyone except me. A small detail caught my attention. Their sister's hand hovering over her stomach, too light, too awkward. More performance than instinct. A lie. I didn't know what it meant yet, but the air around that gesture clung to me. And when I looked at my wife, really looked at her, I saw it. Guilt. A concealed truth trying not to breathe. They spoke, argued, pressured. I stayed silent. Calculated. Cold. Because something was off. Something deeper than their greed. I left the table that night with a calmness that wasn't normal. A stillness that signaled something inside me had shifted. And as soon as I stepped outside, I felt the truth quietly tug at me. This wasn't about property. This was about betrayal. I began quietly. Phone logs. Conversations the family assumed I never overheard. Late-night whispers between my wife and her sister that stopped the moment I entered a room. Their lawyer father calling numbers he shouldn't have been calling. Payments that didn't match their stories. A debt trail twisting into something filthy. I sat in my penthouse at night, lights off, letting the city glow spill across the floor as I pieced the puzzle together. My wife thought she moved with subtlety. She didn't. She hid her phone under a pillow, deleted messages while making coffee, started locking doors she never locked before. I learned to watch without blinking. When she slept, I checked the financial trail again. And that's when the truth sharpened. The sister wasn't just starting fresh. They were drowning. Her father's law practice was bleeding money. Her sister's pregnancy complications explanation didn't match the medical bills. And then I found the biggest crack. The penthouse wasn't just an asset to them. It was collateral to secure a loan they'd already tried and failed to obtain. A loan tied to a $370,000 debt. Their debt. The math was brutal. They needed me to bail them out. They needed the penthouse to leverage the loan. They needed me to stay ignorant. So I played along. Calm. Detached. Civil. I told my wife I understood the family stress. I offered to think about signing. I even returned to family dinners, pretending peace. But internally, every moment was a dissection. The tone of her father's voice. The desperation behind her sister's eyes. The way my wife avoided my gaze when money came up. Every detail tightened the snare. And when I finally had enough evidence, I contacted my attorney. A quiet man. Deadly when necessary. He didn't react when he saw the documents I'd collected. He simply said, "They were planning this for months." I felt nothing. No heartbreak. No fury. Just clarity. Cold. Surgical. The truth arrived in a single envelope. A report. Detailed. Irrefutable. My attorney's handwriting on the first page. THE $370,000 DEBT, CHEME. Everything laid bare. My wife's father had planned to use the penthouse as collateral. The sister wasn't just pregnant. She was a financial sinkhole disguised as a victim. My wife had signed 2 documents behind my back, granting her father temporary authority to negotiate family assets. Illegal. Sloppy. Desperate. I took the envelope, went home, and placed it on the dining table. Then I waited. She came home late. Fake smile in place. Fake exhaustion in her step. I slid the envelope toward her with 2 fingers. She opened it. Her face broke. Color drained. Breathing hitched. Hands trembled. She whispered my name like a plea, like a confession. But I stayed still, emotionless. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked. "I already knew," I said. She sobbed. Her knees weakened. She reached for me. I stepped back, detached. And that's when she realized I was no longer part of her world. The family lawyer demanded a meeting. Their attorney arrived confident until my attorney slid the report across the table. The man went pale. Visibly. Immediately. Her father's jaw tightened. Her sister froze. My attorney spoke first. Attempted property coercion. Fraudulent intent. Debt concealment. Shall we continue? Nobody answered. Her father tried to recover with bluster. Failed. My wife's sister started crying. More performance. My wife didn't speak at all. I stood then calm, steady. "I won't press charges," I said. "But you will never contact me again." Silence. My attorney added, "And the penthouse is legally protected. Permanently." Their world collapsed in front of me, and all I felt was a quiet, steady emptiness. The kind that comes after understanding someone's true nature. I walked out first. Never looked back. The villa in Switzerland felt unreal at first. Too peaceful. Too distant from what I'd escaped. I stood on the balcony that morning when the call started. My daughter-in-law screaming into voicemail after seeing the photos. The mountain air cut clean against my skin. Cold. Purifying. I turned my phone face down. Their world, their greed, their desperation. None of it reached me here. I didn't need revenge. Their truth was punishment enough. I watched the snow drift across the valley and felt a final thought settle into place. Some people aren't betrayed. They're revealed. and I walked away from the life that tried to consume me, without a trace of regret